we can now add more tests to this file. And our next focus is the date method that we use to format a date. So here we can add a new group, and here we can name it date, and we're gonna give it a body like this. And then we could add a new test to check that the correct date is formatted. So I can add a test with 2019 08/12 as a description to mean the 12th of August 2019, and then the method body as usual. And here I can write expect and then format.date, and here I need to pass a date time with 2019 8/12, and the expected value in this case is 12 August 2019, like this. And at this stage I could run this test, and I can see that I get an error because the actual value that was returned is different from my expected value. And in fact, this expected value is only valid if I configure the default locale to GB, and instead the test has run with the US default locale. So when we write tests that use date formatting, we need to be very careful because different systems might have different default locales. So we need a way of choosing what locale to use when we run tests that rely on date formatting. And to do that, I'm going to use a new method which is called setUp. And setUp takes a closure that is executed before each test in this group is run. And this makes it a very useful method for code that needs to be executed for each test. Okay, so what I want to do next is to configure the default locale for my test. And I can do this by typing intl, which I need to import from the intl package. And then I'm going to set the default locale to en_gb. And I also need to call initialize date formatting. And this is also a method that I need to import from here. And here I can type in intl.default locale like this. And this is a method that returns a future. So I need to type in await here and also async in here. And now that I made this change, I should rename this group to date with GB locale, because all the tests that will run here will use the GB locale. And now I can run the tests again. And this time I get a success. By the way, I have said that we can use the setUp method to execute some common code before each test is run. And this means that here we could add another test, for example, with a different date of the 16th of August. And I can update this here. And in this case, we could run this test again, and this would also succeed because the correct locale will be set up in the setUp method. So if we wanted to ensure that our code works well with different locales, we could copy-paste this entire group and adjust all the values accordingly. Okay, so let's continue on the next video.